Recently, I've purchased the TTArtisan 50mm f0.95, and the reason that I got this lens is only and only for its background blur. And in this video, I'm gonna share my experience with it and show you some sample photos. About the build quality, I should say that the lens has a full metal body and even the lens cap is metal. And of course, it's a screw-on cap and it has a huge TTA logo on it, which might be annoying for some people. The aperture ring clicks in half stops, however the stops have unequal distance, which in my opinion is a bit of a downside. The lens extends around 4mm when it's focusing from infinity to its closest distance, which is 0.7 meters. One feature of the lens is that it can be recalibrated if needed. I didn't really play with it because I noticed that it was already quite close to perfect focus on my rangefinder, and I was a little bit scared of making it worse. So yeah, I didn't really play with that feature. And besides, I intend to use this lens with EVF mostly, and then therefore I didn't really even try to fix the calibration. It is a heavy lens, which is 708 grams on my kitchen scale. It's definitely heavy for a rangefinder lens, but I guess if you are used to DSLR zooms, it's not a really big deal. Even the lens cap is heavy with 52 grams. For street photography, there is no real way to quickly focus the lens on the go. So I know it doesn't make any sense, but I try to rely on zone focusing. I found that if I set the distance scale to 5 meters and then walking toward my subject, I have the best chance of getting at least one shot in focus. Of course, you can always pre-focus on something and wait for an interesting character to enter your frame. And of course, I took many out of focus photos with it, especially at the beginning. But finally, I made my peace with it, and I said, okay, we can consider it as a cool special effect of this lens, and it kind of adds to a story in some street scenes. What I didn't really expect and disappointed me was this strange artifact that happens when there is a light source near the top corners, and it happened on both my M240 and on my Canon EOS R. So yeah, on both cameras I can see that. The other downside is vignetting, which becomes purple, that is even worse, and especially on my EOS R, but of course it does exist on my Leica M240 as well. There is also a bit of focus breathing that you can see it here. That is not really a big deal. The lens is not really sharp at f0.95, even at center and even when you focus it with EVF. But I noticed that when I stop down to f2, then it's sharp enough, at least to my eyes. I did this candlelit setup test at ISO 3200 on my Canon EOS R to show how effective this lens is in the dark, and also as a kind of flare test to see if the candle flame causes any crazy artifact across the frame. And we can see here some artifacts, but nothing too crazy in my opinion. As you can see here, the lens blocks the viewfinder quite a lot. But surprisingly, it didn't really bother me a lot. And now that I think of it, it's probably because I didn't use the rangefinder to focus that much. Now it's the conclusion time. So let's face it, the lens has some serious optical flaws, and if you are a perfectionist, I'm sure you won't be happy with it. But I decided to keep this lens. I think for me, the massive background blur is really worth all the headaches. Of course, I'm mostly a 35mm shooter instead of 50. So this lens is not gonna serve as my main lens. Finally, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram.